Welcome, friends. Lara here from Shine with Lara. Thank you so much for deciding to share your practice with me today. Today's practice will be brief. We'll move around some energy, get into the different muscles and tissues of the body, and end with a restorative asana and a very simple breathing technique that hopefully you'll take with you off the mat and use whenever you'd like. If there are any props that you want to have nearby to aid in your comfort, feel free to bring those before you get started. I have some larger bed pillows that I'm sitting on top of to provide a little bit of height under my hips. And I also have two smaller throw pillows that I just took off of my bed. They'll be used to place under my knees later on when we're in a reclined position. I also have a small blanket. I like to keep one nearby because I have tender knees and also just in case I get a little bit cold. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start today's practice in a seat. So if you need to place anything underneath you for some support, some lift, go ahead and do so and meet me on your mat. And when you arrive, you can either close your eyes or just soften the muscles around them. And allow the softness of the face to welcome in this experience. One where we perhaps don't need our eyes for this moment. Just tuning into the subtle sensations of our being. Notice if there's any tension in the body. And gently send your breath and your compassion to those places. As always, be mindful of any movement pattern or asana in relation to anywhere in your body where you feel discomfort. Kindness over form every time. Begin to tap into the sensation of breath. Much like your body, noticing how it's showing up for you today. Our experiences on our mat are not ones where we need to push everything or forget all of the other experiences we've had in our day, but rather it's meant to create new experiences, to hold what was and what is together, and to hold on to neither. So if you planned on coming to your mat today to forget or push away, perhaps change your mindset to just being with what is. If you'd like to explore your breath, go ahead and do so. Maybe inviting a soft ujjayi where we breathe in and out through the nose and allow a gentle sound to emerge from our throat. That gentle valving of the throat allows our breath to slow down. ready, take your next breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Gently breathe into the space on the right side of your neck. And if you tend to keep the chin lifted here, perhaps start to explore what it would be like to keep the chin slightly tucked. Maybe explore both ways of being and notice how they might be different. Let every exhale allow your shoulders to get just a little bit heavier, but release the tendency to do here. Don't pull the shoulders down, just let them be there. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, turn your head so that maybe the gaze, even if the eyes are closed, are on the left shoulder. You can stay here for a few breaths. Maybe you invite movement, a gentle nodding of the head yes, or maybe no. Maybe even opening and closing the jaw, noticing how all those little movements might affect the experience coming from the right side of the neck. Take one more breath here. And slowly turn the left ear back on top of the left shoulder. Lift your head up over and take a moment before we go to the other side. Just notice. And then inhale in. Exhale the right ear to the right shoulder. Using that same level of exploration with the breath, with the placement of the chin, and with just being here. And then on your next exhalation, begin to shift your focus, your gaze to the right shoulder. And again, if you want to find movement, find movement. If you would like stillness, be still. Slowly turn your right ear back over the shoulder and lift the head back up over the heart. Pause. Notice. Gently bring your hands to your knees. And as you slowly inhale, start to send the chest forward, finding extension in the spine. Maybe the gaze lifts. And take a few breaths in this seated cow shape. Bringing awareness to your chest, your collarbones, the tops of your shoulders. And stay in this and approach it gently. This is a shape that we don't make too often. So approach it with a beginner's mind and a student's heart. And on your next exhalation, begin to round the back. Hold on to the knees for a little bit of support and spread the shoulders apart as you bring your chin to your chest. Flexing of the spine. Maybe finding breath between the shoulder blades, maybe down the spine. Now let's add a little dynamic movement here. So on your inhale, slowly feel the shape of the spine change as you come into that seated cow. And as you exhale, round the back, find that cat. Again, inhale, come forward. And exhale, round the back. And let's continue with this movement just a few more times. Really bringing awareness to the spine, to the torso, to the back. Honoring the movement in any way that it's showing up for you. Find one more. And then come back to a neutral spine. Place your left hand down on the ground. You can use the tips of the fingers if you're up high. And then inhale your right arm out to the side and up. And on your exhale, find a lateral bend to the left. Really gentle here. Bring awareness to the length on the right side of the body. And keep the chest open. Reach through the fingertips. Deep breath here. And when you're ready, slowly come back up, and we'll do the other side. Right fingertips down, inhale the left arm up, and exhale, lateral bend to the right. Notice if you feel any sensation, and if you do, how far does it go? And one more breath here. And come on up, release. And now we'll add a little dynamic movement to this pattern. So inhale the right arm up. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, prepare to switch sides. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bends to the right. Let's do 3 more on our own. Perhaps slowing down the breathing and slowing down the movement. After those 3, come back to your seat, pause, and notice. If you have anything under your seat, you can go ahead and remove it. Place it to the side. Come on hands and knees, and we'll start to get into those forearms and wrists a little bit. So with the fingertips first pointing away from you, find that table. And then turn the hands outward so that the fingers are facing you. Now you can choose how much weight you want to put on the wrists. You can walk your knees a little bit closer to your hands so that you have a little bit more stability to lift off. And for just a few breaths, we'll just rock forward and back. And then bring the fingertips to face the outer edges of the mat away from you and rock left to right. And now go ahead and flip the palms so that the palms are facing up. Same thing, be mindful of the weight you're putting on your arms or on your wrists. And then again, just a little gentle rock left to right. Flip your palms back over, fingertips facing away from you. Bring your big toes to touch and find a place where you'd like your knees, either the width of the mat or together, and sit into a child's pose. So maybe the hips go back towards the heels, the arms come out, maybe the elbows rest. Feel free to grab some prop if you have one to place under your forehead if you need it. And if being in this shape is restricting your breathing at all, feel free to create space with your body by again widening the knees, or even lifting up so you're not so far back on your heels. And when you arrive in this balasana, just take a moment, find breath in the back of the body. Allow your breath to move down to the hips, slowly come up out of your child's pose, and we'll move into a shape that will allow a little length in the spine. So you can either choose to come up in a downward facing dog with the hips and the knees lifted. If you want to stay a little closer to the ground today, feel free to really ground through your shins and the lower legs and walk your hands forward and take a downward dog on the knees. So this is like a cross between a puppy pose and a child's pose. So in puppy, or in this shape, unlike puppy, we're not melting our heart down to the mat. We're really keeping some control over our midsection. And you can either rest your forehead or maybe you keep it lifted. So here's option 1. Option 2 is to lift the knees up and continue to find that same length in your spine as when your knees were down. And from wherever you are, just find a pace, a pattern, a position that feels right for you. If my 2 options that I suggested are just not in your practice today, feel free to move around, find an intuitive cat-cow. Just finding what we need here, being with what is, how our bodies are showing up today, our breath, our mindset. And if you're on your knees in down dog, go ahead and step your feet up to the top of your mat. Find a rag doll. If you're in down dog, you can also come to the top of your mat or walk your hands backwards and find a rag doll here. Either option is good. If you're in a rag doll today, I invite perhaps a generous bend to the knees, maybe add a little bit of weight to the heels, almost like we're in a squatting position. And then with time, with breath, you can play around, explore the length in the back of the legs. Find one more breath here. And nice and slowly release. If you're at the back of your mat, walk your hands forward. If you're in the top of your mat, step your feet back. And we'll find a lizard shape, starting with the left foot. So bring your left foot to the top of your mat and let your left arm come to the inside of the leg. Feel free to explore how far back that right knee goes. Again, really paying attention to the body. And if you need to find a little movement here, I feel like I say this with every pose, but it's true. If you need movement, find movement. And after a few rocking of the hips, maybe you find that stillness. you can feel free to come down. If you're up on your hands with the arms straightened out, maybe keep the chest open and the throat back instead of just hanging out in space. Have a little bit of, I hate using the word control, but a little bit of grace. Keeping that head back, using those neck muscles. And then keep that right hand down. Be mindful of the top of the right shoulder. Let the shoulder blade stay on the back body. Don't let the top round forward. And then come up into a twist, either with the left arm up to the sky or the left hand to the left hip. Opening up the chest. Big breaths here. And release, and we'll find our way to the other side. Perhaps sit back towards the heels for a moment, and then we'll find that lizard again. Now with the right foot leading. And even here, noticing if there is sensation and where it is, where it goes. Stay grounded with that left hand and open up that chest to the right, right arm up, or right hand to right hip. And release. Send that right knee back. Maybe sit back towards the heels one more time. And then come on up, and we'll get ready for that restorative asana. So for today, we're going to end our practice in a supported Supta Baddha Konasana, which is a reclined bound angle pose. So for this, you can grab a hold of your pillows, your blankets. For this particular asana, I like to use 2 larger pillows. Feel free to play around, especially if you have multiple options. You might only need 1 pillow, you might want 2, 3. If reclining fully back is not in your practice and you want to up the ante a little, you can put the pillows, the smaller pillows, underneath the larger ones so that you can incline a little bit. So once you get those pillows, bring them to the top third of your mat, and then bring the soles of your feet together with the knees separated. And again, if you have anything you want to place under the knees for support, you absolutely can. A blanket if you get chilly, or even for just a little bit of weight. I'm just putting a blanket on top of my feet because they tend to get cold. So make sure that you are sitting on the ground, and when you lean back, that your head and your whole spine is supported by your prop. Alternatively, if you don't have anything, you can simply lay back with the legs in this position and with the arms cactused. This will still give you that opening in the chest. But if you are in this position, if you're on top of the pillows, you can just let your arms rest by your sides. And once you arrive in your final shape, begin to bring awareness to one of your hands. Doesn't matter which one. We're going to practice nice thumb or finger breathing while we stay in this heart opening shape. Bring awareness to your thumb, and every time you inhale, slide your thumb from the bottom of one of your fingers all the way to the top. So it's an inhale to slide your thumb up a finger, and then an exhale to slide your thumb down the finger. And you can either stay with one finger, you can travel to all of the fingers, and you can travel around the fingers, you can make little figure 8 shapes, whatever is going to get you into this moment. So feel free to look at the camera. Again, we inhale, slide the thumb up the finger, and exhale, slide it down. to the body and the way it feels, supported by your props, supported by Mother Earth. And bring small movements in, perhaps to the hands and the feet. If you feel the need to extend the arms overhead, you can do that now. Take your time, finding your way back up, keeping the face soft. Coming to an upright position, any seat will do. Allowing your hands to rest comfortably wherever you'd like them to. Taking a moment to pause, to find gratitude and honor for the healing power within you. You are so special. You are so full of love. And you are whole and complete exactly as you are. And with these beautiful characteristics in mind, allow your next breath to honor that wisdom within you, to honor that ability that every time you forget, to remember who you are at your core. And take another breath and send it out to someone in the world, anyone. And the third and most important breath is the one that we send out to all living beings. Sealing our practice with the sound of Om or any other mantra, affirmation, message that you want to send out as energy. If you're joining me for Om, take a big breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Even if just for today, may we have peace in our hearts and in our minds. May we feel joy. May we know happiness. And may we continue to remember every time we forget that we are whole, we are complete, we are perfect, just as we are. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope to see you next time. Be well and peace.